though, Miami has lost 7 consecutive matches, as it is Miami to serve to get us underway. And that's Caroline Cermak, and off we go from Worthen Arena in Muncie. Norris with a set to the near pin. That's Williams who uses the hands, and it's set right back to her. Point Ball State with the defense early.
And that is a tough block to try to hit against, and this is why Ball State lined up in this rotation. So you had Megan Wolanski and Allende Smith, perfectly closed block, came up with a big point for the Cardinals.
Sends Megan Wolanski, one of the best servers in the MAC, back behind the service line. Top 3 with 44 aces on the season. Buckley on the right side. Up to the back by Norris. Williams tips it off the hands. Point Miami.
She learned from her last swing. The last swing that she had a good double block up on her. This time she went for the high hands and came up with a point. I'm expecting Miami to try to challenge Ball State's block and not hit directly into it.
Keys tonight, you think Miami's got to get off to a quick start to avoid falling behind early.
Yeah, especially in this building. Like you can see, if you can rack up some points early, that'll help you get a lead and hopefully generate some momentum heading into the back half of the set. I also think they need to pick up a defensive effort, both blocking and in the back row, to try to stop Ball State's offense.
It's an ace from Margot Lawson, the senior libero. Early lead for Miami. Buckley out of the middle, buries it in the corner.
I like how versatile Maddie Buckley is. On this swing, she came in the middle of the court for a 2-ball, one-on-one. She had every option, and she decided to take that power shot. Came up with a big point, and I think this is what Ball State's going to be needing from her.
Wide left on the swing from Gentry Warwick. Ball State scored a couple in a row to retake the lead.
And I saw the vision with that swing. I really liked that option, just a little bit wide, but I think going at Ball State setters in the back row is going to keep them out of system, and that would lower their hitting percentage, which is what Miami needs.
Just saw Kelly Miller-Phillips, 9th-year head coach of Ball State, taking the Cardinals to the NCAA tournament 3 of the last 5 seasons. A little bit long from the lefty Anna Vetter. Ball State's rattled off 3 in a row. Sends Katie Egan off, the junior from Greenwood, Indiana, back behind the line. Scooped up, that's Sophie Ledbetter, the freshman libero. Leads to Carson Tyler, who drills it on the line for the kill.
This is what I like about Carson Tyler's swings, is that she goes line heavy to start and then picks you apart with the other options that she has. So I'm expecting her to mix in some cut shots and some cross shots, but she loves that line shot.
Kelly Miller-Phillips said she just has a knack of knowing where to go with the ball, how to hit it, whether it's hard or goes off speed. And that sails a little bit long again from Vetter. A couple early Miami attack errors. Ball State's on a 5-0 run.
And I think Miami's hanging in there. They're just airing themselves out. If they weren't to make as many hitting errors, it might be a little bit closer to start this set.
Had a 2-1 lead very early, but again, 5 unanswered from Ball State has made this a different story. Wolanski wants middle, that's Cameron Wise.
I love how Wise plays. She's what you would consider a shorter middle blocker. She's only hanging about 5'11", and she's one of those players that just plays with such big heart that it doesn't matter how tall she is, she's playing like she's a bigger attacker.
Yeah, pretty small for your normal middle blocker, but fast arm swing, very physical at the net. That's a point for Miami to end a 6-0 Ball State run.
And that was a smart play by Williams to see, hey, I have a huge double block up in front of me. Find a way to tip, find a way to score. Just caught Megan Wolanski off guard a little bit.
Dan Gwitt in his first season at Miami comes here from Penn State, where he was assistant coach for 2 years. Helped lead them to back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances before coming to Miami. Williams turned right back to her. Out of system, pushes a free ball over. Again, Wise from the middle, sent back. Norris attacks over, kept alive for a moment, but the Red Hawks score a couple in a row.
And if you're Miami, you're taking a sigh of relief after each and every point that you get, because you don't want Ball State to get too far away from you. So I'm liking what I'm seeing energy-wise from Miami these last couple of points.
One arm set for Wolonski, leads to Buckley. That was fantastic from Megan Wolonski.
And this is why she has the accolades that she has, right? She's just able, it doesn't matter what type of pass she gets, she's able to snow cone this ball back to Maddie Buckley. That's a great shot by Buckley to put it in that deep corner where no one else was.
Wolonski, a 3-time first-team All-MAC selection. She was the MAC setter of the year 2 years ago as well, approaching 5,000 career assists. Back to Williams for a second straight swing, and again it's blocked back. That point was all defense for Ball State.
Great lineups by Ball State's blockers. This is why they are one of the statistically better teams at blocking in the MAC. They were just being very disciplined. You can see on this play, they're getting their hands over the net. They did that all 4 times and finally got a point on that last block.
Nearly 2.5 blocks per set for this Ball State defense. Again. Says Williams, popped up off the block. Norris looks to Williams once again. High usage for her, but hasn't had much success. Nobody can get there for Miami, and Ball State pushes the lead up to 6.
And Miami is right there. They are covering. They just can't convert out of covering on these points. But Ball State's a team that's just going to wear you down with their defense, whether that's front court or back court. And you have to meet them halfway by, trying to error these or not error these points out and stay the course and try to find a way to score when you can.
Josie Bloom, junior from Clarkston, Michigan, serving. Gentry Warwick goes roll shot for the point.
And we can see that's how Miami has been able to score so far. Ball State is back on their heels, ready for those big swings, and their block is in the attacker's face for Miami, so the tips and the off-speed have been scoring. So hopefully they can pick up on that and start, using more off-speed to their advantage.
First time we've really seen them do that. Works out well. Allende Smith upped by the libero and Anna McClure. Down the line, it's wide left, point Ball State. Lindsey Green, part of the 6-2 offense, the second setter behind Megan Wolonski serving. Warwick off the slide, way off the mark.
In 1 week, and especially it being senior weekend, you can start thinking about those times ahead, and I think they have just come out like absolutely lethal, ready to play this match.
Gentry Warwick out of the timeout, splits the back row for the point to pull Miami within 6. Yeah, Kelly Miller-Phillips said before the match day that having your midweek, the week before the MAC tournament, is not ideal, but they're choosing to look at it as a positive. Said, hey, if we want to win the MAC tournament, in all likelihood, we're going to have to win 3 games next week as Miami gets an ace here.
Yeah, and going into MAC tournament, it's unlike all the other weekends that you have in conference, like you were saying. Typically in conference, you're only playing 2 matches in 1 weekend, and then you have to start playing those extended matches, which you hadn't been playing since beginning of preseason. So this is going to be a good test for Ball State to see, hey, are we at the physicality standpoint, recovery standpoint, where we can reset every single match and be ready for conference.
And Carson Tyler pounds it in the back row. Ball State's back up 6. If there is a silver lining of having your midweek this week, it's at least all 3 matches are home for Ball State. No traveling.
Absolutely. That makes it a little bit easier for recovery, sleeping in your own bed, and then just having the confidence on playing on Worthen's home court. I think it's a good way for Ball State to end, having that home court advantage for those last 3.
And Caroline Cermak has the immediate response on the side out for Miami. And coming off a team-high 11 kills last week in the loss to Western Michigan, she pulls Miami within 5. And Gracie Norris, the senior setter, serving. Down the line, and it falls down for Cermak. She's got back-to-back kills.
Getting Cermak going is going to be the key for Miami. She's just one of those players that has that motor that's not going to stop, and Miami just needed her to get a couple good kills to get her confidence so that they can start racking up points.
Senior from Louisville, Kentucky, and she's been more of a focal point the last couple weeks for this Miami offense. Off-speed shot there for a Ball State point coming from Katie Eganoff. This is Kendall Simet serving for the Cardinals, up 5. Cermak into the hands of Ball State's block. Again, Cermak tips it over. Back to Cermak. Far pin this time with Vetter. And she terminates.
I like that good high swing by Vetter. Earlier in the match, she was having a couple of swings that were going right into the block for Ball State, but this time she's going off those high hands, coming up to score. It is challenging to block a lefty for most people because it gives you a different perspective. So for Vetter being a lefty, I think that's going to be huge for Miami to start getting her going too.
Just a true freshman who's got more of a role as the season goes on. You can see the comfort level is up quite a bit. Ball State thought that hit the ground. It is a much more delayed whistle, but point Ball State.
There's a little confusion as to who's making that call. There's a far line judge on the other side, and I actually thought in real time that ball was down too, but you could see Coach Gwiz trying to get his team going like, hey, we can't get in those opportunities where it's questionable whether or not we got it up. We got to make plays.
Williams goes cross court, sliding dig by Ledbetter. Buckley squeezes it between the back row.
You can see here she has a huge seam one-on-one and also a seam in between the defenders. But I think that's what has been so fun to watch Maddie Buckley over her career, is that now that she's in her junior season, she's just playing with the most confidence and the most intellectual part of her game that we've seen from her so far.
Very limited role her freshman season, but had a breakout year last year and has only gotten better this year in her 3rd season. Eganoff sails it long, point Miami.
On that swing, Eganoff went a little bit flat with her hand, didn't get a good wrist snap on it. That's why it sailed long instead of being able to get on top of that ball, snap the wrist, and put it down to the floor.
Back set off the slide, blocked back. This is Eganoff, far pin, right into the center of Miami's defense. Williams pushes it right into the Ball State block. Point Cardinals.
That is just a formidable wall up there. I think Ball State's right side and middle blockers have been very proficient in blocking opposing teams' outsides, and today is no different. I mean, it is really challenging for Miami's outsides to hit around that block.
It's already 3 blocks for this Ball State defense in the first set. From the middle, Warwick goes up tempo for the kill.
And I like that Warwick is not afraid to swing in these moments. She's a gamer. She's trying to get her team that energy, and a good hit right at the reigning Defensive Player of the Week for the MAC, Sophie Ledbetter. We can talk more about that later, but that was a good swing by Warwick.
Had a one-on-one and took advantage of it. Free ball to Miami. Diving dig for Wolanski, overpass, back to the Ball State side. Tyler with the wind-up and goes down the line.
It's hard to believe when watching Carson Tyler that she hasn't even finished her freshman year yet, and she's able to swing like that and pick teams apart. She's just been so fun to watch, and I think she's been making a strong case for herself to, if not get Freshman of the Year, at least make herself on first team All-MAC.
Miami does have a quick response. Redhawks pull back within 5.
And it's been Gentry Warwick the last couple of points for Miami. So I think getting her going and getting passes so that the middles can be involved is key for Miami right now.
Yeah, known more for the defense. She's top 3 in the MAC in blocks per set, but team high 3 kills in this opening set. It's Madison Buckley. She's now got 4. Really effective start for the junior.
And this is what is so fun about the Ball State offense running in this 6-2 is that now you consistently have a right side pin. So for Madison Buckley to be that first right side, she's taking a lot of swings, but then Anaya Kennedy as the second right side is also making waves, a name for herself on the right side now too.
Allende Smith from the middle, somehow that's upped. Smith wants it again, instead it's a back set. Anaya Kennedy powers it through.
Kennedy's just able to reach over this block. As you can see, she had that seam and she took full advantage of it.
In the MAC tournament where the top 6 teams make it, sitting 4th right now with an outside chance at a top 2 seed, which would then give you a first round bye. That's down in the back row from Caroline Cermak. Good response out of the timeout for Miami.
I think Miami needs to continue to string points along. They just go a little bit too long without scoring points, and that's why Ball State's able to have a 6-point lead on them.
And we've seen 2 separate occasions tonight where Ball State's had at least a 5-0 run. Kennedy right back in the middle.
And that's the versatility of Anaya Kennedy. Across her career in high school and her time here at Ball State, she's played all frontline positions. She's played outside, she's played right side, she's played middle, so she can run those quicker routes. So teams have got to key in on her because she is absolutely lethal.
The MAC Freshman of the Year last year averaged more than 4 kills a set, as that's wide left from Cermak for a Ball State point. Had knee issues early in the season, did Kennedy, and Kelly was telling us before the match tonight, feels like over the last week or so that she's finally gotten to the point where she's 100% again and being as effective as they've known her to be over the last year.
And that's exactly what you need from her going into this weekend, going into MAC conference play. You want your players feeling healthy, feeling confident at the peak of their game.
Serve hits the antenna from the freshman Carson Tyler. Miami pulls within 5. Smith from the middle with a dart into the back row.
And you can see that Miami's servers are trying to target Carson Tyler, given that she's a freshman, she's an all-around outside, but she is just an all-around great player. She can hang in there and pass with the best of them, and that gave Ball State that 3-point opportunity to set the middle. So I don't know if maybe serving Carson Tyler is the move right now.
Back row is where they said she's gotten so much better over the course of this season. They knew what they were going to get from her in the front row, but could her passing improve? And it has.
Especially here at Ball State. I mean, this is known to be a ball control team, and she's just been able to improve quite nicely and make herself a great all-around player.
Cermak off the hands. Miami survives 1 Ball State set point.
Ball State just going with the high hands on that block instead of getting that pressure over that they normally do. That's why Cermak was able to take advantage of it.
Cermak after the kill goes back to serve. Norris sets middle, pushed right into the block. Ball State with a chance to win it here. Cameron Wise from the middle does. The 23rd straight set win for Ball State.
Change offensive schemes or defensive schemes, but the only thing that I think each team has to do is make sure that they are improving from where they're at before, and that's all you can ask for.
Great play in the back row by Carson Tyler to keep that ball alive. Set away by the Ball State block. It's Cameron Wise up front for the Cardinals.
And Wise is one of those players that might be overlooked in terms of what she provides to Ball State team, because we think about the heavy hitters like Maddie Buckley and Carson Tyler. And we think about the setters, obviously, but I think Cameron Wise is one of those players that just plays so steady. You don't really ever notice when she's there because she's just always doing her job.
Yeah, pretty quiet typically, but last year was part of the MAC all-freshman team, second in the MAC in blocks at over 1% a year ago as a true freshman.
and she's basically a hometown kid too. So
Yeah.
I think she loves being able to put the Ball State uniform on and have her family and all her friends come to the games and have a good support system.
Yeah, from nearby Parker City, where she played at Wapahani High School. It's Megan Wolonsky serving for Ball State, up a point early. Williams, upped by Ledbetter, the freshman. And a free ball by Eganoff. Norris, back set, Vetter on the near pin. Eganoff, cross court, Ball State's up 2-0.
And I don't think many people realize how challenging of a hit that was for Katie Eganoff to swing. That's a high ball coming from behind her head. She had a good block up in front of her, and she was able to find a way to score. Those out-of-system sets are so hard for outsides to hit, but Eganoff has that experience to put it away.
Williams way off the net, but paints the line in the back.
And right now, Ball State's playing in a rotational style of defense, so they don't have any defender in zone 6. You can see that Sophie Ledbetter was more on that cross. So if Miami's able to take advantage hitting over the Ball State block into zone 6, they might have more opportunities to score.
Eganoff tools the block, point Ball State. She has the last 2 Cardinal points.
And they were both on out-of-system swings, so Eganoff is very effective even when things get a little crazy.
3 kills on just 6 swings for her. It's been an effective start to the night. Williams into the Ball State block. The 6th already tonight for Ball State.
And you can see that Ball State, they didn't even seem phased or reacted to that at all. They're like, hey, we're just coming in, doing our jobs, taking care of business from the blocking department.
A 6-0 advantage in terms of blocks for Ball State. Almost got another. Dumped over by Norris. Great play by Wolonsky. Norris goes middle. Ledbetter's there. Tight to the net for Tyler, down the line for the kill.
The power that she has on these line shots is what makes it so effective. She is throwing her entire body, rotating down that line, and it is going to be hard to dig for anyone back there.
Asked Kelly Miller-Phillips, did you expect this as a true freshman right away? And she said, honestly, I think so. Every time we went to watch her play club ball, this is what she looked like.
And she's just going to get better with that, you know, coaching over the years on the spring season, adding in weightlifting, getting stronger, getting faster. Like
6th in the MAC in kills per set at nearly 3.5. A remarkable start to her career. What a back set to Buckley, and she finds the line. Whoa. Makes you and I 1 for 1.
Hey, if we're in the win column, that's good for me.
Well, we thought Ball State might lose some momentum with all that time during the challenge, but it's Josie Bloom, the libero, who has an ace right out of it.
She has been so effective from behind the service line, and this is why Ball State flipped into this 2 libero system with the new changing of the NCAA rule. Sophie Ledbetter is in there for most points, except for when she's supposed to be serving. That's when Josie Bloom comes in for her, and she gets the team on runs.
Allende Smith buries it in the back corner. Ball State's run continues.
Look at how high up Allende Smith is getting. She had both of her angles. I liked that Warwick tried to take that cut back away from her, but Allende Smith said, doesn't matter what you take, I'm going to find a way to score.
I want to go back to that 2 libero system. What's the positives for a team using that?
I think sometimes you might have a libero that is stronger in serve receive. So she's really solid in serve receive, putting you in 3-system offense every single time. You might have, but maybe she's a little bit more less effective on defense, and so you want someone in there that's defending. You see a lot of teams do this in the men's game where they'll have a person that's in for serve receive and then a libero that comes in when their team is serving. So I think there's benefits to both. I think Ball State has done it the best in terms of how consistent it is. Sometimes when you have 2 different people coming in and out so frequently, it can cause a little bit disruption in the team chemistry, but I think Ball State does a really nice job with it of having Sophie Ledbetter in there for majority of the rotations and only Josie Bloom when they're serving.
Lindsey Green goes into the net on the serve. Service error gives the serve back to Miami as the Redhawks pull within 5. Gentry Warwick, the junior from here in Indiana, serving. Green back set off the slide at Smith, too strong. Miami scored back-to-back for the first time in this set.
I really like that run, though. We haven't seen Smith go on a slide very often because Ball State's in the 6-2. The middles don't really run slides because they already have that right side attacker back there.
Kennedy, nice adjustment midair to go roll shot and a free ball back to the Cardinals. Allende Smith pounds it down the line.
She has been such a great addition to this Ball State team. As that graduate transfer from Towson, she is just lighting it up here in the MAC. She knows success. She's found it here even in the MAC.
Won 4 regular season championships at Towson. 3 times they went to the NCAA tournament, and Kelly Miller Phillips said she brings winning at a level that not a lot of our players have. That finds the corner, point Miami. Off the swing.
And going back to your point on that, having that experience is something that you can't coach, right? So Ball State has a lot of younger players. They graduated a class that had Natalie Reese, Marie Plitt, all those players that had been consistently playing since they were freshmen. And to lose that experience, it's nice having someone like Allende Smith to come in, bringing that game time experience.
Yeah, there's definitely players on Ball State that have gone to the MAC or the NCAA tournament. They've been there 3 of the last 5 years, but it was an every year thing for Allende Smith when she was at Towson.
And that experience is invaluable. I'm not sure what that conversation was about. Something with the net, I think they were talking about.
Well, Paige Busick goes long, so Miami gets the side out. Back row swing for Tyler. She is a threat from everywhere on the court.
She is, and that's not something that we saw in the first set because Ball State's front row offense was just lighting it up. But I think that kept Miami on their toes because you gotta always be aware of where Carson Tyler's at on the floor.
Leading the way with 5 kills tonight for Ball State on just 7 swings, a .714 hitting percentage. Better cross court, upped by Wolonski. Kendall Barnes. Great sliding dig from Anna McClure. Williams upped by Ledbetter. Ball State out of system. Norris back set. Here's Vetter on the near pin. Cross court for the kill. Miami hanging tight after losing the first set 25-16, within 4 right now. Madison Buckley out of the middle with the authority.
I think she's hitting 1,000 when she's running a 2-ball in the middle off of that rotation 1 serve receive. She is just able to find all of the angles, and I think that gives Miami a different look from her, and they're unable to make a stop on her.
You almost didn't even need the qualifier. She's hitting almost 1,000 regardless tonight. 6 kills on 7 swings. Cross-court attempt is way too long from Williams. Couple in a row for Ball State. Service error after service error.
That one was pretty close.
Yeah, it was.
You could hear like the reaction in the gym.
Close.
Everyone's like, ooh.
Close enough that looks like Kelly wants to challenge it.
I mean, might as well. I mean, that one was really close.
That's close.
I mean, to me, it looked in real time and
So this was the last play before that where, yeah, it was called out, but you see the point got added to Miami. So all in all, we've got the correct score. Took us a bit to get there.
It was just different on the scoreboard.
Carson Tyler, my goodness. Didn't look like she just had 12 minutes off.
Yeah, I mean, that is what you need. And the fact that I consistently have 3 hitters up and you can put your hitters in one-on-one situations, which allows you to hit at a very efficient clip.
Williams out of the timeout for the Miami point. I hear you, the former setter, giving setters love. That was the first thing you mentioned.
Obviously. But I got to give credit where credit's due as well, too. And I think Ball State's back row has just been so solid. And so when you have a solid back row, solid setters, solid front row, you're going to be a tough team to beat, which is what we've seen Ball State be the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, things usually work out pretty well when everything's working well. Somehow a free ball turns into a point for Miami. They'll take it.
I'm not going to lie, I hold my breath every time I see a middle with their back facing the net, passing a ball over. Usually you're like, what is going to happen? And for Ball State to just still be sitting back there, not ready for that, I think they need to lock in just a little bit more and not get complacent.
Buckley goes off speed. What a play by McClure. Wolanski dumps, and it works. Point Ball State.
And I love that Megan Wolanski is so calm in the chaos. She was a little bit out of position as Maddie Buckley was in her way making a defensive play on that ball. But Megan Wolanski has that experience. She knows when she's going to be able to score, and that's exactly what she did.
Good serve, has Miami out of system. Green to Smith out of the middle.
And Allende Smith is just up ready for that. I love the intensity that Ball State has played with the last 2 points after that free ball kill from Miami. They just seem a little bit more focused, and I think that's what they need.
Ledbetter the dig. It's an overpass back to Miami. Dumped by Norris. You see that all the time. One setter gets the dump to work, the other one has to do it immediately after.
It's like they think in their head, anything you can do, I can do better. Or they sometimes forget that they can be offensive too, and then the other setter reminded them, hey, setter dumps can score.
5-point Ball State lead approaching the end of set 2. Cardinals trying to take that commanding 2-0 lead. Tyler down the line. You've said it a couple times tonight, but she's almost unstoppable when you give her the line.
Exactly. I mean, I think that is her bread and butter shot. She loves that. And then you also have a setter front row blocking the outside on the line. So that's already a tough matchup in the first place. So I think Carson Tyler is taking full advantage of having that line wide open.
Match high 7 kills now for Carson Tyler. Free ball from Ledbetter. Cross-court swing is there for Cermak.
And that's not something that we've seen from Miami yet, running Cermak inside the court a little bit on that 32. That gives her that good seam on that cross-court shot, and she was able to take full advantage of it. Ledbetter just a little bit out of place.
Tight to the net for Green. Smith mistimed the jump, point Miami.
She was ready for it. She was full force on that tempo that she thought she was getting. She almost got it on the second arm swing back over, but unfortunately just a little bit high for her.
Back row for Tyler. Cermak well off the pin, sitting right back to her. Ball State's block again, 7th of the night for the Cardinals.
Yeah, they have been really fun to watch, offensively and defensively. I think their blocks today are the star of the show with how many good quality touches, how many stuff blocks they've gotten on Miami.
It's point Miami. Ball State was in the net.
Yeah, they called Cameron Wise in the net on that one. sometimes as you start turning away, as you make that block to read it, you can get caught in the net with your elbow a little bit.
4-point Ball State lead. Cermak serving. Back set, Kennedy on the far side, upped by Cermak. Williams drills it too far, point Ball State.
Sometimes it appears that Miami's attackers are trying to swing around Ball State's block, trying to be too fancy with Ball State's block because they've seen that Ball State can get stuff blocks on them, get good quality touches. So instead of just taking their normal swing, they're trying to hit around that block. So a little bit missed time on her swing there.
Norris back sets. This is Vetter, upped by Tyler, and then couldn't handle it on the front row. Point Miami. Redhawks continuing to battle, running out of time a little bit late in set two, but they've pulled within 4. Kendall Barnes off speed, good chase down from Williams. Back row swing, Cermak. Wolanski with a one-hand set to Wise. Williams can't find the line. 5-point lead for the Cardinals.
And that's the second time that Williams has been trying to hit on the inside of that Ball State block, and she's just hitting it a little bit wide.
It's the 18th error tonight for Miami, only 2 for Ball State.
It's hard to beat a team that only has 2 hitting errors to your 18.
Yeah. Off the block, though, Anna Vetter with the kill. Yeah, you go plus 16 in your favor on attack errors for Ball State. It's probably going to work more times than not.
Exactly, because you have to think, right, those 18 errors are almost a set of errors. So it's going to be tough to come back from that deficit.
Tyler rolls it off the block, hits the antenna, point Ball State. That's a great point. A little under half of Ball State's points have come on Miami errors. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think like that's what the power of Ball State is. They just wear you down. They make you make the error instead of them erroring themselves out.
Back set off the slide for Warwick.
I think she's just doing a nice job of staying steady. Again, we talk about her defense. She's known for her defense, but I think today she's really been involved in the offense, and I think that's what's helping Miami stay in this second set at least.
She's got 6 kills. Her and Cermak have the most for Miami. Buckley with the response down the line for Ball State.
And so you'll see on this one, Ball State has run out of substitutions, or they may not have run out of them, but they're at least keeping Maddie Buckley in there to serve, and now Megan Wolanski's in the front row.
Overpass, poked onto the Ball State side. Norris to Warwick, turned away.
That's a great turn and press from Carson Tyler. She was not going to be tooled on that block. She had her hands over, ready to go.
Cermak down the line, snaps it into the corner.
And so now you'll see Ball State has 2 hitters up. Megan Wolanski's front row here. So we might see Ayende Smith on the slide in this rotation.
Set point, a chance for Ball State to win it. It's Tyler, not quite on the line. Miami survives another Ball State set point.
That's a tough angle. She was really going for it. Turned her thumb down, just barely missed.
Back to Tyler. Upped by Warwick, tight to the net for Norris. How fitting that the block wins the set.
A ton of confidence going into the last week of conference play, heading into the MAC tournament. I think Ball State is playing their best volleyball right now, and it goes to show that they're able to break records while doing it.
Clinched a spot for the MAC tournament already. They are the 4 seed as it sits, but in the final week, they have a shot to get up to the number 2 seed, which would give them a first-round bye. Wolanski sets up tempo in the middle to Cameron Wise, and it's Ball State who's on the board first in set 3.
And you could see on that play that Ball State was running a crossing pattern. Katie Eganoff was coming in ready for that 2-ball. I think Anna Vetter was still on that outside pin expecting Eganoff to be set there, and that's why Cameron Wise had a one-on-one.
Back set to the far pin with Vetter, and it's blocked back. The 10th block for Ball State already tonight.
I mean, we knew Ball State was a good blocking team. I don't think we knew that they were this good of a blocking team. It seems like everything they touch turns to gold from the blocking department.
2.5 blocks per set is what they average on the season, which is a really good number, but they've got 10, and we're barely 2 full sets into it.
Yeah, plenty of time for them to rack up a couple more.
Well, that's the thing you said. If there's one thing to pick apart about Ball State, it's been the service errors the first 2 sets. That's how Miami scores their first point.
Exactly. I mean, especially when you're Ball State, if you're playing the way that you were playing, you don't want to give those easy free points to Miami.
Overpass is dropped down by Miami. Gentry Warwick ties it at 2 apiece. Eganoff poked back. Katie Eganoff again. This time rips it cross court to put Ball State back in front.
And I like that she chose 2 different angles on that swing. The first one, she was trying to go down the line a little bit more. This one, she turns her thumb down and beats that left back defender to her right.
After the kill, she rotates back to serve. Norris goes to Warwick in the middle. The last 2 Miami points have been scored by Gentry Warwick.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with how well Miami has passed the last 3 points here. You could see that Gracie Norris had all of her options, chose Warwick, and then Warwick took that cutback shot right at Wolanski.
Warwick known more for the defense, top 3 in the MAC in blocks, but on a night where Miami has 0 blocks, Warwick's still making a really big impact. It's been more offensively tonight. Carson Tyler snaps it down the line.
I feel like a broken record, right? Carson Tyler on the line is not something that you want to give up, especially one-on-one here. You could see no one was going to stop that ball, whether it was the front row blocker or the back row defender.
9th kill to lead all attackers tonight for the freshman Carson Tyler. Poked right back by the Ball State block.
And that's a really tough matchup for Williams, having Ayinde Smith and Maddie Buckley in your face up ready for that. There was no way that ball was coming over the net.
Eganoff sets. It's Buckley who paints the line.
You can see Eganoff was so proud that she got an assist on that one. But that's a tough ball for a right-handed right side for Maddie Buckley to hit, coming across her left shoulder. It was a good set from Eganoff, but a tough swing for Buckley, but she came up with a point.
Her 5th assist of the season, by the way.
Is she the 3rd setter in Ball State's offense?
Yeah. Give her a little more time, Kelly. Can't hit the line on the cross-court attack from Carson Tyler. Point Miami. Ellie Hansen, the junior from California, on to serve. It's a service error. Point back to Ball State. First service error for Miami.
And if you're going to make one, this would be the time to do it. There's still plenty of time in this set. Now, if we start getting the back half of the set and you're still down, if you're Miami, you've got to get your serves in.
Work is blocked back, but it's still alive. Back set, Kennedy. Good adjustment in the air. It was a net violation against Miami.
Sometimes when you see those tight sets that you get a little too greedy trying to reach for it, and as you turn off that net, you just nick the net.
Nearly an ace out of system for Miami. Bump set from Ledbetter. Kennedy rejected. First block tonight for Miami.
And I think that's a good momentum point for Miami, especially for Gentry Ward being a part of that. We've talked about it. She's known for her blocks, and for her to not have one until just now, I think hopefully that can start generating some more confidence in Miami's block.
11-1, the block advantage in favor of Ball State now. But back-to-back service errors for Miami.
And you don't want to give Ball State any inch to go on a run here, but now you have Carson Tyler back. She's been pretty effective from the service line in terms of pressure, not necessarily aces, but getting Miami out of system. So we'll see if she can capitalize on that.
She does, forces an overpass. Cermak off the deflection. Green goes up tempo to Smith. Diving play in the back row. An unorthodox point, but still a point for Ball State.
I think Anaya Kennedy was a little surprised that that actually ended up working. That was very interesting and unorthodox, like you said, but a point's a point, so we play on.
Eganoff on the far pin, down the line, rips it through.
I think she took a page out of Carson Tyler's book. She was watching her saying, hey, this line shot has been working. And I love that. I think that is the hardest swing that we've seen Eganoff swing in this match. And what a way to do it besides down the line.
Cermak got a good look at it, and she tools the block.
That was a great lineup in terms of lining up with the attacker, but Ball State's blockers didn't have their hands turned back into the court. That's why they were able to be tooled out of bounds. And with how quickly it hit the ground, you can see that Cermak hit that one with a lot of pace.
Gracie Norris, the setter, is serving. Kennedy cross court.
I think it's kind of interesting that Ball State's hitters, you can tell kind of what their favorite shots are. Like Carson Tyler loves the line. Anaya Kennedy loves that, I call it the 2-to-2 shot, the zone 2 on the right side into the zone 2 on the other right side, that cross-court shot. And so I think if you can pick up on those tendencies and try to defend those a little bit better, I think that'll help you stay in with Ball State's attackers.
Better from the middle. Cannot be chased down by Paige Busick. Point Miami.
And that's not something that we've seen Miami run too often, having the lefty vetter in the middle running that 2-ball. I think that's why it kind of caught Ball State off guard a little bit. Not that they weren't ready for it, but they just hadn't seen it and didn't have a chance to defend it earlier.
Miscommunication in that back row leads to a Miami ace for Cermak.
I think right now between the two teams, Miami is playing just a little bit crisper than they had been. And you can see that Ball State kind of has been playing less crisp than what they were playing in the first two sets.
Williams, Ledbetter gets there on the reach. Now she sends the free ball over to Miami. Back set, Vetter, deflected. Net violation on Miami. Ball State wins the point to extend the lead back to 5.
And that was probably the longest rally that we've seen so far. So I think Ball State wants to get back to, you know, kind of their one and done swings and generating that offense just a little bit more. So we'll see if Megan Wolanski back in can kind of take care of the efficiency here.
Goes into the net on the serve instead.
And not that Ball State's been inefficient. I mean, they're hitting .412 this set, but the first two sets they were hitting .481 and .481. So I guess that is a little downtrend by their standards.
Yeah, when you're hitting .412 and that's your worst set, then things are going pretty smoothly for you. But that .412 will come down even a little bit more on the attack error. Point Miami.
And that was the first time that we saw Maddie Buckley not score on the 2-ball in the middle. So we'll see if they go back to her again or if they try another attacker in this rotation.
Instead, they go to Eganoff. It's Eganoff, no, rather Carson Tyler pushes over on a free ball. Williams into the Ball State block. Williams a second time. To Wise up tempo. Kept alive. Great effort by the Miami defense. Buckley down the line, terminates.
There's great scrappy play on both sides, but when you need a point, you're going to go to Maddie Buckley to score, especially when you have Carson Tyler in the back row. I think Miami was doing a good job of covering on those block touches and staying in that point, but it's hard to defend Maddie Buckley, that's for sure.
Up to 9 kills on the night for the junior Maddie Buckley. Vetter into the net, won't find the line, point Ball State.
At home, and I think they really want that back. But again, a lot of that could change within these next couple of matches for the rest of this week.
A couple teams that are really hot too. Ball State's won 8 straight matches. Bowling Green has won 9 entering the weekends. Out of the timeout, Miami scores. Redhawks pull within 4.
And I think both teams need to try to get momentum in different ways, right? If you're Miami, you just got to stay steady, try to chip away at this lead. But if you're Ball State, you're like, hey, we need to finish this one as quickly as possible, get this one over with, get some rest for the next couple of days because they got to attack Western Michigan this weekend.
Cameron Wise on the line. What a shot from Cameron Wise.
That was a sharp, sharp angle from Cameron Wise. But that one was fully in with confidence. I can say that.
Checks out after her 4th kill of the night. Just misses the arm of Cermak as she's able to duck out of the way. Service error, point Miami.
That one was really close. It was almost like Matrix trying to dodge that on that one. I think Miami just got a little bit lucky that they weren't able to actually get to the ball.
This is the 7th service error tonight for Ball State. It's what you talked about in between sets 2 and 3. That's been the one area they've struggled a little bit tonight. Everything else has been almost flawless. Carson Tyler, powerful swing on that far side.
Yeah, she's been unstoppable. I've really enjoyed watching her this match because it seems like she just gets better as the match goes on. We've seen her pick teams apart, and she's able to kind of do that here tonight against Miami.
She's the first to double figures, now her 10th kill. Oh, what an effort from the defense for Ball State. Cermak scooped up in the back. That's Kendall Simek. Norris has to chase it down. Cermak roll shot. Tyler off the net, turned away on the block.
Gentry Warwick, again, a part of that block. I think she's really starting to come alive a little bit more in that blocking department. She just needed to get her first block, and now she's been a part of a couple here. And I think it's unfortunate that she's rotating to the back row right now because I think Miami needed her block presence.
Miami had no blocks the first 2 sets. They've had 2 here in the 3rd, and Warwick's been a part of both of them. Good swing out of the middle, but sent back. Point Ball State.
Ayende Smith does such a good job of reading the middles when they're running directly in front of her. It's like she can see it in their eyes which angle they're going to take, and then she's all over it.
Cermak rejected. Cermak once more. This time down the line and buries it in the corner.
Yeah, that's a great swing. We haven't seen Miami go down the line too often here. You could see that Anaya Kennedy left that open just a little bit. She thought Cermak was going in on that cross, and then it left Carson Tyler out to dry on that dig.
Pulls Miami back within 4, trying to force a 4th set. Ball State scrambling, out of system. Back set, Vetter, powerful swing, squeezes it between the back row defenders.
That was a great push by Gracie Norris. You could see she was all the way on that left side. And then, you know, lefty Vetter, I love having a lefty on the right side because they can paint that line just like what Vetter did.
A couple in a row by Miami. Redhawks not going away. Smith sent back. A great play by Ledbetter. Cermak did not hit hands, point Ball State.
She really thought she did on that one. You could see with maybe how the ball took a turn. She thought that it kind of nicked Anaya Kennedy's hands there on that one.
Dan Gwitt just asked her, and she turned to him and said, I don't know. It was close, but she wasn't convinced that she hit hands.
Sometimes you know, like, confidently whether or not you got a touch on that one, and other times you're like, hey, it's not worth it to risk the challenge.
Kennedy into the net. Miami scores.
And I think I talked about this earlier in their set, but as crisp as they were, I don't know if it's like feeling a little bit complacent. Hey, we're already up 2. We have this big lead, but now you can see it's trimmed down to 3. And Miami is totally capable of coming back and tying this up.
Sliding play by McClure. Free ball back to the Ball State side. Green sets outside to Barnes, too strong. And just like that, Miami's within 2. Back set, Kennedy right side, roll shot. Point Ball State.
Anaya Kennedy's been very effective anytime she's done a roll shot across this season because we know how powerful she can swing. So a lot of teams are back on their heels and they're not expecting that off speed from her.
I feel like it's been such a quiet night for her, but 10 kills, that is...
She has 10 kills?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was also thinking the same thing, just a little bit quiet for her, but I guess if you can get 10 kills quietly, it's a good night.
Yeah, no kidding. Buckley rotates back in on the right side and finds the line.
And now she has 10 kills too. I mean, I think the Ball State pins have been doing such a great job. Carson Tyler, Anaya Kennedy, Maddie Buckley, they're just unstoppable and they have great connection.
9.
And I think when that happened, a lot of Ball State fans were like, what is going on with this team? We've never seen this before, or at least for a while. And so I think it kind of scared everyone and made everyone a little bit unconfident. But once they figured out that 6-2 system, it has been so fun to watch them over the last couple of matches.
Well, not only that Buffalo match, but you had alluded to it a little bit ago, also lost back-to-back home matches to Bowling Green early in the conference season. It just did not look like Ball State was clicking, but they have been since, and that's Kendall Barnes.
Kendall Barnes down the line. I keep saying this about Ball State's outsides, but they are just absolutely lighting it up on their line shots. But that means the setters are getting it into good positions for them to take those swings down the line.
Vetter, what a placement into that far corner.
That's what legendary Steve Shondell calls the coffin corner, because there's no defender back there, and that's where all the hits go to die. So that was a good swing or good spot by Anna Vetter.
She couldn't have walked that ball across the net and put it in a better spot. Wise tools the block.
And if you notice on that play, Megan Wolanski gave a quick look to the other side of the net to see where the defenders were. And with how successful Maddie Buckley's being, you could see that Warwick was cheating on Maddie Buckley, left Wise wide open.
Free ball to Ball State. Smith wants it up tempo and she delivers. Match point Cardinals.
I love that run. Feed your middles when they're up there working for you. That's a great set, but an even better finish by Ayinde Smith.
Norris sets middle, poked back on the block by Smith. It's Ball State's 9th straight win.